Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Pillars of Eternity with me, Bragaton. Map out this road to the south.
I'm ready.
Right.
Alright, more undead return to the grave. Let's check in on Aloth's scepter. I'd initially forgotten that his arcane assault did raw damage. The scepter should be done in no time. Made a lot of progress so far.
Margaret's fire casts light in dark places.
Also, I have decided to respec Pallegina when I get the chance. So I want her to use a reach weapon, and I'd mistakenly assumed that poleaxes were reach weapons. So I'm going to swap her to weapon-focused soldier to use pikes instead. Which also fits her character since her background is soldier.
Keeping an eye out.
Alright, Akatha's house.
Eyes open.
Keeping quiet.
Left out to rot, these potatoes are covered with wet, rank-smelling bruises. These stale loaves are as hard as rocks. A woman bends over a roaring fireplace, feeding a splintered chair leg into it. As you get closer, you notice something unnatural about her. A certain pallor to her skin, a lack of movement beneath her flesh, even while her arms execute deft, efficient movements. Then you see the puckered flesh, ragged and bloodless, over her heart. A natural creature. We should correct it, then it's scampering back to the foulest depths of animancy from whence it came.
It's rude to stare, you know. Don't worry. I've no mind to start anything with you. After all, I've stayed in such good shape by choosing my meals carefully.
Not expecting voice acting. She laughs to herself. Who are you?
A survivor, by the grace of my own careful preparations. When I heard the claws scrabbling at the door outside, I took care of matters myself. And since then, I've been careful to keep myself fresh and fed.
She gives you a hollow laugh. She traces a finger over the jagged hole in her chest. You know what happened here?
An incredible act of animancy, of a magnitude this part of the world likely hasn't seen since Engwithan times. Someone found something very powerful and ancient, and I'd bet my own preserved life it wasn't Aldhelm or his lovely assistant.
Her dead eyes glaze over with wonder. I still don't understand why this district is full of walking corpses. She spins from the fire to face you. Because someone found a way to tether their souls to their bodies. Don't you see? She taps her skull with an impatient finger. So when the heart stops beating, When the blood stops flowing, their bodies still animate, and with a newfound hunger. It turns back to the fire. Those that can feed it with living flesh and essence stay strong and sharp. Those that can't degenerate quickly. Tell me what you know about this Aldhelm. His name barely merits repeating. He's a charlatan who liked to dig up pretty artifacts and call himself a scholar. The pity with animancy these days is that just about anyone can claim to be an expert. I see. He smirks. I truly doubt that. It's time for me to get going. Admeth Hadrit Part 1, Rise to Power. Little could one know that the man who once destroyed part of his own country with fire would become the Deerwood's most beloved leader. Martyred in the war he started to free his people from an oppressive rule, there isn't a Deerwoodan who doesn't know of or revere Admeth for what he did. Strangely, even though there are records of his father Edring's childhood, even though he was raised in nobility in the Deerwood, while it was still a Deer territory, information about Admeth's early years is nearly impossible to find. Admeth is not known for his childhood, though. He's known for saving the Deerwood, uniting it with its sworn enemy, the Glenfathans. In 2652 AI, the Deerwoodan troubles with their Fairconing were at a boiling point. Several of the earls under Edring's rule, provoked by the Imperial Court in Adir, resumed looting the ruins around Deerwood that the Glenfathans held sacred. When the Glenfathans finally retaliated, it was overwhelmingly brutal and resulted in a slave uprising. Galvin Reg, who Eldring had fought before, resumed control of the Glenfathan troops. Reg was also able to convince some Delimgan to join the fight. Edring was, at this point, far too old to lead his forces into battle, so he sent his son Admeth in his place to contain the threat. Admeth, true to form as the son of Edring, obviously having learned tactics from his father, made a dangerous but effective tactical decision. In order to prevent Reg's troops from using the woods as cover and to keep them from advancing through his land, set fire to the forest at a tributary of the icy Uar River and positioned his troops to prevent any of the Glenfathan forces from retreating. This tactic proved to be effective. While some Glenfathans in Delimgan were able to escape, thousands died. In the skirmish that followed, Galvin Reg was captured and sent to be held New Heomar. At New Heomar? Admeth was able to do what his father spent decades trying to do. He stopped Galvin Reg. The conflict with the Glenfathans continued for several months, and Admeth repeated the Scorched Earth tactic several times to flush the opposing forces from key battlefields. He was able to bring the conflict to an end before the year ended. While it was a win for the Deerwoodans, it was very costly as well. Because of his tactics, conflict earned the name the War of Black Trees. After Edring's death in 2654, Admeth became the grief of the Deerwood to the dismay of the Imperial Court and the other earls. Over the course of the next year, they defied his rule at every turn, rebuking his decrees and countermanding his directives. In 2655 AI, Admeth had had enough. Even though he lacked the support from most of the earls, he was admired by both the Valian dukes and all the common folk. Backed by his support, he issued an ultimatum to the Fairconing to anoint him as Grief Palatine. The Fairconing, unwilling to deal with the rebellion while trying to establish a new warless trade array at Cirrus, agreed. Admeth then held authority and legal power over the earls, their holdings, and their titles. The Deerwood was no longer a Grief Rim, but instead a Palatinate. His change reduced the Fairconing's power over the region. With his new power, Admeth quickly brought the rebellious earls into line. But in exchange for the power, Admeth invested time and money into all of the Deerwood's ports and trade posts, dramatically increasing shipping traffic. This helped the earls and brought in more money for the Fairconing.
Yeah.
I'll see what I can do. The work of a moment.
And what does the flame reveal?
I'm on the trail.
I'll have it in no time. The work of a moment.
Something or someone snapped this candelabra in two. Spider Fingers grants restore light endurance 3 per rest, plus 1 perception. Gloves, gauntlets, and bracers offer a variety of benefits. While some grant protection in combat, many have magical properties that empower the wearer in other ways. We'll give this to... Let's read... It was a generic description, wasn't it? It was. I sat there and read it, didn't even realize.
I'll take a look.
You're not one of Akantha's servants. Please, you've got to get us out of here before she feeds on us. What happened to you? We're just groundskeepers. When the district fell into chaos, Akantha took us in. That it would be safe until the Knights got things under control. Instead, she locked us in here. Every week, one of those monsters who serves her comes in and takes one of us away. I don't know what she's doing, but sometimes we can hear the screams. Please, get us out of here. The way to the district exit should be safe. Go now. Thank you. We'll never forget this. I'm sure she won't take kindly to that either.
You return. What have you come seeking this time?
I came across a group of people in the back room. She clucks. Hope you didn't disturb them. Rounding them up is quite the chore. Can I attack her? Should I attack her? She's voice acted. I don't know if I should just fight her or not. We'll hold off on it for right now.
I'm on the trail. I'm on the trail. I'm on the trail.
Steady does it.
Alright, throw in a quick save. Oh, that's gonna hit my teammates. Let's see. Maybe not, because he's not gonna survive. Alright, things went a little sideways because I panicked to try to pull back. To no avail. Alright, go get these guys real quick.
Hey.
Quick!
Pretty uncool. Alright, hang in there, Palagina. Don't mind. Sorry, my 2 tanky characters should be enough, honestly. We'll see how it goes.
Hey.
Ready, one.
Kinda stuck over.
Dead on!
Okay, that didn't go smoothly. I should have just held my ground initially, because Durance took a lot of damage there, and then Aloth got focused as well. I could have pushed forward instead. That's okay. We still came out on top.
Huh? Laying low.
Be cautious. Be constant. Slow and silent.
Right to the tower.
I understand.
Guess that's where we're going next. Massive stone door of the tower is sealed. There doesn't appear to be any way of opening it. Really cool art. Okay, so be it. I try and go speak to Akantha about it. That she seems somewhat tied to what happened here. I'm assuming that's gonna be the follow-up quest. It's entering the tower.
You return.
I believe that's everything here. It'd be safe to return to Wheela and report our progress. Hey Seda. There. That's a nice man who helped me. And thank the Iron Arm for it. We'll get you sorted out at the keep.
Right.
Fantastic.
Welcome.
Remember, there's camping supplies left at Heritage Hill. Camping supplies there. There's camping supplies in Crucible Keep. They usually sell for like 75 copper. So it's definitely worth the journeys to gather those instead of buying them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there she is. Seda looks like she's had a bath and a few square meals. She smiles shyly. Any news from Heritage Hill? One of the survivors is standing directly beside you. Your guards are charmed by the spirit of a woman named Lyra. I've gotten rid of her. Your tired eyes grow round. By the flame, you found her. My missing commander. He heaves a sigh and loses her gaze among the floor tiles. She's calling to the watch from beyond the grave. It doesn't make any sense. But nothing in that accursed district does. What happened to the soldiers under her spell? They didn't make it. I see. Nevertheless, thank you for your help. You've left me with as many questions as answers. At least I know what happened to my troops. And Commander Lyra. Please, accept this as a token of my gratitude. There's nothing else. I must attend to my duties. Alright, well, let's go back to the palace. See if we can progress Adair's quest.
Don't bother the caddy, Tamak. You'd have better odds against a Stelgard.
I don't know if y'all heard that or not. Hit my desk trying to pet my cat.
Sure.
You may also hear in the background meowing. Takes a reputation made its hero. As good here as it is in Gilded Vale. How much money do we have?
Good day to you.
Alright, once again, man continues his work without looking up. I'm looking for militia records from the time of the Saints' War. Trying to find out what happened to someone. Man clears his throat. Had a number of inquiries about such information. I'm afraid we've had to bar access to the public. Seems there are still quite a number of folk in Deerwood who bear ill will toward Raid Sirens. It would be irresponsible to surrender their names to just anyone. Many came to settle here as refugees. Cool. For the first time, he turns his full attention toward you, and his eyes flicker in recognition. Of course, that policy is for the general public. Exceptions can't be made for those who have already proven their worth. He looks up at the shelf and withdraws a thick volume, shifting a layer of dust aside with his hand. The rosters are in the front, the inventories of the dead in back. He passes it into Adair's outstretched hands. Adair leafs through the book for some time anxiously, running his thick farmhand's fingers over page after page of names. At last, his hand stops, his fingers just below one name.
Woden Talesh died 18 Majavernho 2808. Third Battle of Cleaban Relog. Blazing Glonfather names, I swear.
I'm right there with you, buddy.
Right, Saris?
He stops short, his eyes bulging. They scan back and forth, over and over.
I'll be the effigy. He fought for Raid Saris. Why'd he fight for Raid Saris?
He stares at the page, his jaw agape before suddenly looking up at you. We may not be meant to find out. No, not this. There's an answer. He always had a reason.
We gotta go there. That battlefield. Clea, the one I said. I don't know how else I'm gonna make sense of all this. I gotta see what he saw.
A strange look comes over Adair.
And who knows, maybe his spirit will even be there and you can have one of your weird talks with him. Ain't worth trying, right?
I'd say so.
I appreciate that. Wish I could say you won't regret it, but you certainly might. Hey.
We'll see. Yeah. Talk to Durance again.
If doubts and curiosity play... Huh.
Alright, tell me more about Ashfall. Never mind.
I suspect...
You don't dress like a priest. Your robes look as if they were touched by fire. Durance grunts. And you don't fit any manner of watcher I've ever seen. Does it make you one now? He frowns and holds up his hand. Don't answer that. Are those the same robes you wore at Halgot? Durance frowns. Why do I... The tension in his face slips into irritation. Your memory is both a curse and a curse. I wore these on our pilgrimage to Halgot, as well as after. He glances at them. We're to travel quietly, so few would know our religion, our intent, like executioners with robes instead of hoods. How did they get burned then? These robes are the ones I wore at the Citadel, when the God Hammer was triggered. Imagine a campfire, then a field of them. His hand cradles his staff, then form them into a sphere, and let it grow until it fills the air. He swallows, his throat dry. Its violence ran through my stave and my spirit like 100 lightnings, and all around me was flame. It tore at my skin, even burst vessels in my flesh. He holds up his sleeves, yet the robe survived. He grins, the scars on his face bunching up beneath the coarse beard hairs. And you've worn them since. Aloth purses his lips. I do hope he's washed them. Magran deemed I should wear ash while dispensing her justice, then so be it. We exist at her pleasure, for her pleasure. Durance shrugs. Either way, she answers my call, quietly or loudly, but her colors seem weak in comparison to the acts one does in her name. And quiet is how I prefer. I find others of my faith not tend to take me for a second glance if the fire of my spirit does not grace my staff. What other questions about you? That staff of yours, can you tell me about it? Durance glances at the staff, then at you, and gives a crooked smile. Excuse me. Can't take your eyes from it. He chuckles. Durance himself favored such knotted twists of heat, it was said. No shame in it. That large mark there, the 12 circles, what is it?
That symbol? The God Hammer.
Durance frowns, and the words come slowly.
The 12 circles are a sign of the dozen on the bridge, and the dozen of us that let the hammer fall on them, bridge, God, and all. If there's a symbol that is unlikely to ever fade, it's that one. I thought it might be the last the staff would ever hold. Was holding it that day on the bridge when Aethys fell. It was the spark put to the Godhammer. Might be the last light that touched Aethys before the pyre ate him.
He frowns, his eyes frozen on the staff. Okay. I'm pretty sure we've exhausted all the dialogue with him. But we can't check right now because he's done talking. Alright, I'm going to call the episode here. In the next one, we have a couple quests outside of Defiance Bay to do, and I might pursue some of these bounties as well. But before we do all that, I will go back and respec Pallegina and see about buying that pike for her as well. We'll see. For now, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.